OFW Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pwera.
Punan 87.9. Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovy Miroy at Ron Kapinding. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo!
Hello! Musta kayo? Ha? It's Lundagin mo, babe. It's Monday, 5 o'clock, and it's me. Wala si Sir Ron, kaya medyo nangangapa ako. Si Sir Ron kasi ang bibong-bibo.
Totoy Bibo.
Totoy Bibo.
Okay.
So meron naman tayong co-anchor. Papakilala ko na siya sa inyo. Ewan ko kung kilala niyo siya. Kasama namin siya. Hindi siya philo major. Ano ba major mo nun?
Communication Arts.
Kasama ka namin dati sa TA, di ba?
Kasama ninyo ni Ron. Okay. Right, sa TA. But,
pero magkasama muna tayo doon.
Right, kasi you're just one batch ahead.
Kasi I'm the batch of your brother.
Yes, you're older by me. Old by 1 year by me.
Yes. So ang ating co-anchor at guest na din for today ay si Joel Macaventa. Meron ba tayong applause dyan?
Nag-woohoo na talaga sa sarili ko, no?
Ayan. So Joel, how are you? Joel Macaventa, what's your gig ba these days?
Belated talaga itong mga audience natin. Ang bagal mag-clap. Okay, what's my gig these days? I now am a senior writer and editor for an online marketing company. Ibig sabihin nun yung it's a US owned company but based in Bangkok. Di ba pa?
Alright, yeah.
And most of their clients are US, Canada, Australia. But yun nga, based sila sa Bangkok but they needed English writers and editors. So, nag-tap sila sa mga Pinoy kasi mas magaling dihamak ang mga Pinoy sa pagsusulat ng Ingles kaysa sa mga, I mean, no offense to the Thai, but mas sanay lang tayo.
Did you ever go to Thailand for?
Not yet. Yeah. Or not even for like Songkran or anything.
Yeah.
No, I've never been there. Never been to Thailand.
But I remember we were also together in CCP, di ba?
Yes. So that was my first job. Right after college in 1988.
I cannot hide from my students anyways.
Of course, yeah. And besides, it was Dr. Ricardo Abad who helped me get that job. Kasi siya yung nilapitan nung aking yung immediate boss back then was Madeline Nicolas.
Si Madeline.
Yeah, so I'm dropping Philippine theater names like anything, but since most of you guys don't know Philippine theater, these names will fly over your head. But anyway, my immediate boss was Madeline Nicolas, and her big boss was Nonon Padilla. Yun, so,
Was also Natinian, no?
yes, and a well-respected theater artist.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but hopefully Sir Ricky will have him here next Monday.
that's
Maybe
your
he'll
plan.
say yes. Yeah, that's our
your plan.
It's my evil plan.
Maybe we can just, tie him up and just bring him here. Yeah. Dali lang yun.
You'll do that.
Okay.
But before we talk about Sir Ricky, I know, Joel, that you studied all the way from the grade school, no?
Yes, I am blue-blooded through and through from prep all the way to college and even after college. But hindi masters. I would still come back and help out sa Tanghalang Ateneo because, chatter
And
is
that
chatter.
you were a part of Dulaang Sibol.
Oh yeah, I was actually even grade school. I was with Ateneo Children's Theater, and then nung pagdating na high school,
Who was the moderator then?
si Mariano Singson.
Let's go back to let's go back to memory lane.
Oh, sige, fine.
Try
Let's
to
go down.
reminisce your days in with
Grade school?
¿Cómo se llama? Ano? Renato Singson?
No, Mariano
Singson.
Well, kasi one play a year lang naman yung
What plays did you do?
Dalawa lang. Bata is the title of the first play, and then the second play was Anino ni Ate.
Anong naaalala mo kay Sir Mariano Singson?
Wala
I think he passed away just recently, no?
Oo. Pagdating sa casting, lagi niyang pinipili yung matangkad at gwapo. Yon.
That's something that is really worth remembering, my friend.
Yeah, because nung una, we were all thinking na parang hindi ba dapat hindi typecasting? Dapat yung kung sino.
Already at that time.
Yeah, and of course, that was when we were younger and we thought that it should be.
But what started you out in theater?
I just like I like the arts. I've always
I remember you also came out in the play of diba? Of Nonon.
In
CCP.
Yeah.
Very good actor. Yeah.
Wait, you saw that?
I was there every rehearsals, I remember.
Wait, why?
I was just a kibots.
Talaga? Kasi I remember.
You don't remember me in the rehearsal?
No. Kasi syempre pag nagre-rehearse ka, hindi ba you're
of
just,
course, you're the star. I was just observing.
Hindi naman. But I did have a 3-minute monologue in the end. But this is the funny story kasi so I accepted that role because Nonon just saw me in the office and said, Joel, ganun pa siya. Joel, do you want to be in my play? Ganyan. So meron daw siyang role. So sabi ko naman, okay. And then he told me the role. It was Bititoy. Then I saw the script.
Who's the son of Bitoy? No?
Yeah, this is
Bitoy Camacho.
the play is called ang
Larawan.
Ang larawan ng Pilipino bilang artista, which is like a play on the Filipino being an artist is Filipino by Nick Joaquin.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it was Bititoy, and I read the first few pages and I was just like 1 line, 2 lines. So sabi ko, this is gonna be easy. So I said yes until I read the whole script, and at the last part there were like 2 pages long of monologue.
Yeah.
So
it's the aftermath of where the play of Nick Joaquin ends.
Yes. So yun yung kanyang.
Yeah. So then you went to high school and you became part of Dulaang Sibol.
Let me just fix that. Yung sa CCP was already when I was already a nag-graduate na ako. But so syempre let's go back to grade school. That was with ACT. And then nung high school, I was with Mr. Pagsi.
Yeah.
And Dulaang.
So yan, yung di ba? You're handpicked by Sir Pagsi.
Of course. Iisa lang naman at that time from 1980 to 84. Or actually, sorry, 81.
Yeah. You also became close to Sir Pagsi, no?
And
you were part of the group that made the book.
What book?
Dulaang Sibol. I saw it
Yeah.
So there's a book, di ba?
Yeah, there's also cassette, there's also
Yeah. So which plays were you part of it? Were you part of?
From 82 to 84, but you couldn't skip a play. Lahat ng plays.
At that time, all the plays you
All
had
the
to be
plays.
part
Kasi
of.
either you were koro or you were
Oh, what's your ano naman?
koro.
Your,
Kasi nga naman, hindi ako
di ba,
Hindi ako
bawal
gwapo.
mag-theater pagpasok sa college. Bakit ka nag-TA?
What do you mean bawal ng
For
theater?
tulang sibol.
Hindi
At that time, wala pang ganung rule.
Wala. May rule ba na gano'n? Wala. And now, meron rule? Really? Well. I think that's a mistake. But anyway.
So then you went to college and you became part of Tanghalang Ateneo.
Yeah, because nga naman, there is also, at that time, it was either Tanghalang Ateneo or bago pa lang yung entablado. And entablado had no venue. They were really into street theater and protest.
Yeah.
And I was like, give the protest to somebody else. I just want plays.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
TA was it.
Yeah. So your most favorite ano?
TA play?
No, your most favorite of the three theater group.
How could you compare apples and oranges and rambutan? Rambutan talaga.
Kanya yan si Joe. It's very philosophical.
Anong philosophical doon? No, but yeah, sige. If I were to what was my favorite experience as in a school-based theater company? I would say kasi that TA, because it really was us trying to be as professional, while within a student setting. Dulaang Sibo naman kasi, to be fair naman to Mr. Pagsy, he's always emphasized that the play is not the thing, the actor is.
So the play is not the thing.
The actor is.
The actor is.
So yeah, he put up Dulaang Sibol as a teaching tool. So theater as a teaching tool, not only to the members but also to the audience.
Yeah. But you learned a lot from TA, because eventually you became you went to CCP and you became a real
Jovy, you learn a lot from everything naman if you are always just open to all the learnings.
Of course. So yan, napapansin nyo na kung bakit guest natin si Joel, kasi isa yan sa mga nakakasagot sa akin.
Kasi
alright? So having said that, ang topic natin ay how does one's philosophy change in the real world, no?
Okay.
So ang ano ko lang kasi,
Ang lawak.
actually yung philo dati, ang kablock talaga niyan, For some reason, yung kablock ko din kablock din namin sa...
So you're talking about the students and their schedules.
Okay. In the core. In the core.
Now?
I'm not sure now.
Okay.
But during our time, yung mga kablock namin ay sa core ay com, no? Which is very instructive din, no? So I would guest in their projects. If you're also a kind of a ham like me, no? So I would guest in their projects.
Okay, so what kind of ham are you? Chinese ham? Christmas ham?
Farmer's ham.
Akala ko naman spam. Okay. Anyway.
So ayan ang topic natin ngayon. How does one's philosophy change in the real world? And I don't want to put you on a spot.
But I wanted the spot.
I wanted to ask you who your philo teachers were.
Okay. No, it's okay to put me on a spot because I'll be very honest. I really don't remember.
You don't remember. So that's very telling. Why don't you remember your philo teachers?
Because I also don't remember my other teachers.
Ari, you just have poor memory.
Kulang yata ako sa sa gatas. No, well, I think tying it up to the subject.
Yun nga.
Those things kasi that you don't really, unless they're like super duper memorable, it's the lessons that are more memorable.
What do you remember of your philo classes?
What do you call this? Yung preparing for orals.
What do you remember of that?
Terror.
And also it scared you out of your wits.
Well, maybe not out of my wits, but kasi you never know kasi what they're gonna ask and you can never, especially in philo, you can never memorize everything because it's not supposed to be memorized.
It's not supposed to be memorized.
Right. But
it's
remember,
just 15 minutes.
Correct. But remember, hindi ba in our generation, education was mostly memorization.
Rote
especially
learning.
grade school and high school. So you had to memorize. And it was only in college that you were forced to like
Think.
di ba? And defend it. Yun. So,
Think and speak well. Di ba?
well, true, yes. Kasi, especially for mga Spanish classes. di ba?
Yes, yes.
Si no es
Oo.
verdad, todo lo que dije. Me cagas. Ganyan.
Yes.
So that's why I remember more the lessons rather
So like
than
what
the teachers
what
who taught it.
philosophy
Kasi, wait, to be fair to
lesson
the,
do you remember
I think
up to
to be
now?
fair to the teachers,
Oh.
binida nila yung lesson, hindi sila.
Oh. I'm not like
Kung
that.
sino man yung teachers ko, sip-sap. Sana nagkaroon ako ng grades na mataas noon. What lessons do I remember?
Yes.
Yung mga phenomenology, yung I think therefore I am ni Descartes, because it's really just so easy to
Yeah.
make fun
So,
of.
parang wala ka naman yata talaga natatandaan. Did your philosophy change when you got
Kasi-
into the real world?
Kasi ganito yun, Jovy, you don't memorize nga philosophy, you just live it. Hindi
But
ba?
my
So-
sense is you didn't really buy into what your teachers were saying in philo
Okay.
class.
Yes, simply because at that time when you were just being told, kunwari daw, I think therefore I am, or like, whatever, like any Machiavellian, yung parang you don't.
You were being brainwashed. And you had that already in...
No, hindi naman sa brainwash, but you were being told. So, ako naman, parang
You were not being taught. You were being told.
and it takes me a while for me to say, okay, I get it, and then I will decide whether I will subscribe to it or not. So
All
I
right.
think that's the difference.
And it wasn't that way before, no? That
Right,
you
so-
needed to make a choice. We didn't have a choice. It was still martial law at that time, di ba?
Hindi, pero kasi,
Yeah.
alam ko rin, you play by the rules of the school, hindi ba? Of the
Institution,
environment and the
yeah.
institution. When the teacher says, ito yung ating lesson, ito yung dapat mong matutunan, ito yung dapat mong alam, you memorize, you remember. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to agree, but you remember.
Yes. So yun nga ang topic natin today. Did your philosophy change when you got into the real world? no?
Clearly, yes.
Yeah. So before we discuss that topic, I want to ask you, since you're in communication,
Okay.
how can we improve our teaching philosophy, especially sa target market o target audience na millennials. Pag millennials, ano naman tawag sa kanila? Generation Z?
No.
Those in college.
After na,
Yeah, no?
But
Those in college are it's a different generation.
I don't even think nga that the generation ngayon, are you talking about the current college
In college,
students?
those whom we will be teaching
Hindi
philosophy.
na nga yata sila millennials.
Hindi na,
Parang
no?
Post-millennials
Post-millennial na sila. Do we have data on them? These are the ones who grew up with the internet,
I'm
no?
pretty sure that Facebook has data on them. I'm sure that Cambridge Analytica has a lot of data on them. But we have yet to petition them from Cambridge.
we have to buy it from them.
No, not buy. We have to actually sue them to get the because I think they stole it without our knowledge.
Ayaw the data kasi.
No, sorry. Kapanonood ko lang ng The Great Hack sa Netflix. Bakit panoorin niyo yung The Great Hack sa Netflix?
What's that?
So it's about Cambridge Analytica.
Really?
Yeah, and
it's
the
a
whole-
documentary.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you were going...
I'm sorry. I'm just close to killing my Facebook.
But that's your work, di ba? You're on online. It's an online company that you said.
We write. Yeah, we
Yeah.
write for online marketing. Yeah.
So basically, that's the kind of world that we're entering.
Well,
so
yeah.
how do you think we should approach philosophy classes for this kind of world? I mean, people are already buying online. I know that
no.
sa Philippines we're not yet big on buying stuff online. No?
Wait, no. I think let's go back first to your
Sure,
first question,
yeah.
which is yung parang how do we talk to these kids nowadays?
Yeah.
So kasi these kids nowadays they're really online. I think question, do teachers in college allow students to have their phones on?
Some do.
Depende
In fact,
sa-
there is that thinking now that you should use the internet for class.
But depends
Or their
on class,
phones.
or are you talking about philo teachers? Like
Even philo, especially the core classes, the formative
okay.
classes.
Well-
Bring in technology inside your
Right. I think okay
teaching.
lang yon in the
Yeah.
sense na you allow real world conditions to creep into the classroom.
Yes, yeah.
So that's fine. But I think kasi going back to yung philo na pag-aralan natin, it has never changed naman. I mean, Kant, what Kant wrote noon, what Descartes,
yeah,
it doesn't change. And
well, it should. It should. Or should it change?
No, I don't think. I don't think that what they said changed, but the
no.
conditions where we live in now have changed. So either yun ang kailangan mo ngayon ibangga sa real life.
Yes.
And then that's where philosophy comes to life. Yun.
So you like that kind of conflict between the what Aristotle said, what Saint Thomas said, and then our world today.
For me kasi, I think for students, bago nila i-question Aristotle, they should understand first what Aristotle was trying to say. Including siguro yung historical setting of why Aristotle said it at that time. So, but kasi how can you go against something if you don't clearly understand it first?
Yeah.
So, I think yun mo na yung first challenge. How do you make Aristotle and Plato and all these dead folks who were never
dead white males?
Yes. Oh, I'm sure molested several. I don't know. Anyway,
Girls.
and boys. Because at that time, di ba yung kanilang society?
Oh, yeah, in Greek society.
Yeah, Greek
Well, I
society.
don't know if that's molestation.
Come to think of it, yeah. So anyway, bago tayo malihis sa sa Greek boys. So you need to get the kids nowadays to understand that first, and I
Yes.
think having
So paano kaya yun if they're used to watching the Kardashians and
maybe I don't know,
Ate
maybe
Vice?
if meron ngang pwedeng mapalabas sa classroom, or if there is something siguro online, or even kung pwedeng gumawa ka ng quiz, like hindi ba yung parang, how Aristotelian are you?
May mga ganyan, may mga app
Are you asking me, or-
there are.
Di ba? So you can
So you also advise that to use technology and YouTube videos.
okay, speaking as a non-teacher, meaning I'm not teaching philo, I would say go for it to the philo teachers kasi who knows, it may work. It may work. You'll only know naman if it will work or not if you try it.
But do you think philosophy is really important as a preparation for the real world?
Yes, I think
And that real world you're still very much part of, no? Diba?
well, everyone is.
Well, I don't think in Ateneo we're very we're in touch with the real world.
Oh, you just want to be in a bubble, but still, I mean, the moment you step out of gate 2 or 3 or the world comes sometimes the world comes crashing in on the Ateneo.
Only at the gates.
Unless like Imelda Marcos becomes a guest and then you like, oh, Imelda.
O kaya nga, so having said that, so of which you speak, is philosophy still relevant?
Yes, of course.
In the world that we live in now.
Yeah, I think more than anything, philosophy should be able to teach you to think for yourself, to be self-aware, and that kahit na ba sabihin na natin hindi kailangan mo yun kahit sa sa office.
Yeah. And this is coming from a guy whose job is to sell stuff.
You will need it even if you don't have to sell.
All right.
You need it even if it's just kunwari daw nag-i-input ka ng mga or nasa call center ka. I mean, I'm not knocking down call center agents. I was a call center agent, handling calls for like a month. So you need critical thinking even if, let's say, your job is mostly rote, because not everything that is not your job is not just the rote thing. There are other things.
Yes, yeah.
And you need to know how to think for yourself.
But I'm sure eventually you got that part that it's not so much what Aristotle or Marcel was saying that is philosophy class, but what you, Joel, would say at the end, diba? So when eventually you got into the real world,
Yes.
and the world, as what's the line in Sinta? The world happened to you.
Yeah, oo. The world,
The world happened to you, no?
pero in Tagalog yun. So,
Oo.
anong nangyari sa'yo? Yung mundo.
Yes, it's the world that happens to us, and you formed your own philosophy, no? So we're going to talk about how you have formed this philosophy from your experience of the real world. But maybe before we go into our discussion, I ask you to choose a song that would encapsulate your worldview.
Uy, ang bilis
diba?
na pala.
Yes.
Half an hour na lang
Half an
pala.
hour na yon. Oo.
Pwede pa tayong tuloy-tuloy. Okay,
Oo
sige.
naman.
Okay, I chose the first song.
Yeah. What's the song that and I encourage everyone to think of a song that encapsulates your view of the world today, or for
Well, pardon me, but kasi medyo na iba, yung napili kong first song is not yung what encapsulates my, well, come to think of it. It's something that really affected me at the time it came out. And so even until today, it resonates kahit na ba luma na.
super relate ka akong ganon dito sa song na to.
Super, I agree.
Super, I agree. Yes. All right. What's the difference?
Between super relate and super I agree.
Yeah.
Kasi hindi naman ako naglalaslas ng pulso pag ano.
Paano ba tong song na to?
It's Madonna, The Power of Goodbye. It's slow. It's not a dance.
So what's the song about?
It's
So hindi ito yung Material Girl na Madonna?
This is Madonna after she's had, I think, 2
Or Like a Virgin?
She's definitely not a virgin anymore here. She's definitely, played around with the crucifix. So hindi na siya virgin dito. This is I think, this is from her album Ray of Light, which is one of the better albums. She's more
Ray of Light.
Ray of Light, yes. It's more contemplative in certain tracks. But at the same time, she's not yet wala pa siya yung hubris na now she has. Sorry,
She's Madonna.
Oo. But, no, this one parang ano pa lang from fun, happy. I'm, parang she's now becoming a little bit more serious. She's now self-reflecting. So, I think this is in her more philosophical stage.
So Power of Goodbye. So what is she saying goodbye in the song?
Well, sa umpisa, it's clear na on the one level.
Did you have to say goodbye?
Oh, I've been saying goodbyes to a lot of people.
Someone die or?
Dying, not even friend zoning you.
So you're saying that you agree because what's the song saying?
Part of my growing up years kasi I had to learn what it's like to let go. Yun. So kasi I think especially if you're kunwari daw growing up in theater and you're very sensitive and you like the arts. So one of the first things that you'll be thinking of is parang 'di ba parang like me, this should happen to me, I want this to happen to me. Then eventually you realize then that certain things you just really have to learn it's not for you. You have to let go. Yeah.
All right. So let's listen to the song and then we'll go on a break and then talk about the kind of philosophy that we'll need in the real world.
Yeah.
Your heart is not open, so I must go. The spell has been broken. I loved you so. Freedom comes when you learn to let go. Creation comes when you learn to say no. You were my lesson. I had to learn. I was your fortress. You had to burn.
The Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9. The Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
All right. So that was The Power of Goodbye by Madonna.
I thought this was more like Radyo Katipunan.
So I didn't
In
ask
fairness,
you, what's your memory of the Feast of Saint Ignatius? We're celebrating the Feast of Saint Ignatius in 2 days.
Okay. Grade school lang yata naman talaga na may to do about it. It's like a big mass.
During our time.
Yeah, big mass, and then sorry. But other than that, like I think even also high school, I think there's also a big
Yeah.
mass.
So this is really a new
college.
thing when there's a kind of a increased devotion in Saint Ignatius himself.
Yeah,
diba?
I think I don't know kung bakit there is you can tell more. I mean, I'm not with the institution, but at that
Well,
time,
because it's one of the preferred apostolic, the universal apostolic preferences to teach the discernment, the exercises. So we're all supposed to make that available to everybody.
Really?
The spiritual exercises, the discernment.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The whole time
During
I
our
was in
time, it
Ateneo,
wasn't, yeah.
I had no idea
Exactly.
what the
Yeah.
exercises were.
Yeah.
So parang it was like something that the Jesuits would go and like become, pagbalik nila doon, they're Jedi Knights.
Yes.
So alam mo yun, kailangan lang they have to go to Yoda, and Yoda does their training.
Yes. So now it's going to be. It's always been available, naman, to us.
Online?
But, it's online. It's online. There's also the 19th annotation, that is, you can take the retreat every day for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So you don't have to go on a retreat for 30 days.
Mahal yun dati noon.
Oh, well, up to now naman.
Okay.
Yung 8-day retreat. Yung 8-day retreat.
Oo.
Mahal yun. It's still a challenge up to now.
So why would you have to take the 8-day retreat when there's actually
The 19th. Actually, what's difficult is to find your own spiritual director, the retreat master.
Can you get someone for free?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Sa bagay, kailangan
That's not my field. I'm in philosophy.
Kailangan mo talaga nga rin naman ng merong someone to guide you.
Yes. So bago natin pag-usapan na natin yung topic natin ngayon. Topic natin ngayon ay how does one's philosophy change in the real world? So the first question, what is the real world, Sir Joel? What is the real? How do you find the real? What is the real world? When we say the real world, as you said, we're all part of the real world. But
Yeah.
when we say the real world, what do we mean?
Well, you know the Matrix? Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't believe that. Well, more and more nowadays with online, parang there is nga a Matrix. But before there was the Matrix, before there was online, the real world is just, what happens to us on a day-to-day basis. The present is the real world.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, pero kasi kung gusto mo ng practical real world, it's as simple as you wake up, you have to go to work, or you have to have
to
work.
go to work,
Or
diba?
you have to have work.
Yes.
You have to be earning something, or you are...
You know, I think you're a perfect candidate to talk about this because you started out in the arts, diba? And then you went
Yeah.
into corporate. What was the decision? What's the story behind that?
Wala kasing pera sa art.
Oh, yun
At
na
that
nga.
time, well, okay, at that time kasi, remember, from 88 to 90 ako sa CCP.
Oh.
So that was still Cory Aquino, right?
Oo.
And remember, she famously said, because after the Marcos era, she said, I'm gonna fix the economy. Last priority yung culture and arts. So CCP at that time wasn't even getting money from the government. And alam yun ng CCP. So and so if you wanted to have a raise in your salary, or if you wanted to go up, you have to wait for the person in front of you, on top of you, to die or to move on before you get promoted. So
Yeah.
although I loved working in CCP. I mean, my God, the breaks that I would take, I would just take a break. I would go to the main theater, and there was the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra rehearsing, or there was Ballet Philippines rehearsing. So I had a free, ballet or a free concert every time they're there.
Yeah. And then from there you went to
So
corporate, diba?
Hindi. What happened was, okay, TA connection.
Yeah.
So yung mga TA friends ko, Marlon Rivera, who is your batchmate, and then Lay Reyes, who is a batch below me, they were already in advertising, and they said, "Huy, kailangan ka namin. Because we're putting up our radio station, the Veritas radio station. Because after 1986, di ba, the military destroyed Radio Veritas. So the Catholic Church called up the Mr. Mercado, or head of the ad agency nila kung saan sila Marlon were working. And so we helped put up Radio Veritas again.
I didn't know that.
But after that, sabi ni Mr. Mercado, look, when it's up and running, hindi na niyo kailangan nandoon eh. He invited me to join the ad agency that he was in. Basic advertising. So that's why I went into advertising. Even though before I joined advertising, when I was in college, I thought advertising was just all lies. Until I realized, when I talked to the people who worked in advertising, you cannot lie, especially with the ad board.
Yeah.
But you can be very creative in how you say things. So I was there in advertising for the longest time, and then napunta ako sa ABS-CBN, and then napunta ako ulit sa advertising, then napunta ako sa Solar Entertainment, na naging Solar Sports, then napunta ako sa CNN Philippines, and now napunta pa ako sa nag teleperformance ako for a month, and then ngayon nasa Pronto marketing ako ngayon.
Yeah. So what was so that's the real world. That's like your...
Yes. So what I learned from the real world is that even though you can pursue your passions, yes you can, but be prepared to there are what do you call that? Hindi naman drawbacks, but parang there's give and take.
If it's all passion.
Yes, if it's all passion. There are some people kasi na who are so passionate that even if, they're hungry, parang no, passion pa rin. I'm not that kind of person eh.
You have
if I'm hungry,
practical
if
side.
I'm hungry, I want a Big Mac. Di ba? I want something to eat rin naman. But see, my practicality also means that pag talagang lean times, ay hindi, kung karinderya. Yung ganon, di ba? So, merong practical side. I think doon nangyari rin na, yung aking idealism when I was a lot younger, nababangga with the realities of you have to live. You have to have.
So basically, real world is the reality of having to eke out a living.
Yeah. But
pay bills.
Yes. It may seem like drudgery. It sounds like drudgery when you say, real life, pay bills.
Yeah.
But it's not, because if you're even within the workplace, you discover joys of either how you do your work or how you deal with other people. And sometimes what you learn from the arts or your artistic side is actually challenged.
So is philosophy relevant?
Yes.
In that setting.
Yes, because sometimes you really have to think twice and thrice na what is the good thing to do?
What is the good
just
thing?
To do? Kasi especially nowadays, if you're a manager, being a manager nowadays is not just about making sure that things happen smoothly. Ngayon, parang there's a lot of engagement, and there's also, you really have to care for your people.
Yes.
Because people don't leave. People leave bad managers.
People leave
bad managers. Yun. So, kailangan mo ngayong makatao ka dapat. I think yun yung
So to be an effective manager, you have to be just and you have to be good.
Well, no, siguro ganito na lang. Makatao would be a bit Tagalog, di ba? Pero kasi yun ang maganda sa Tagalog minsan sabihin mo lang makatao, di ba? So, when you say makatao kasi, it applies to everyone, not just your employees. So, you want to be able to be fair to everyone, but at the same time, you also understand that it cannot be just all rules. Sometimes, you have to consider the individual situation.
You cannot be a universalist.
Yes. That's a nice word, universalist. Meron bang Tagalog na ganun? Meron bang Tagalog na universalist?
Hindi ka dapat maging pasista. Joke.
Pasista, okay.
So, is that something that you learned in the real world or something that we taught you? That the Ateneo taught you?
Nice question. I think meron nagsabi niyan noon. I think isa sa mga lessons merong nagsabi niyan. Pero hindi siya like
personal
pushed.
Dapat. Kailangan personalized, 'di ba? Hindi universal.
Right. Not necessarily pertaining to management.
Yes.
So, yun. But it's not something like kasi yung you immediately connect to management, diba? And then at that time, I don't think whoever was teaching it was in management. Because I was never in a management class. So it must be some other class I was in. So yun, you see, you take things that you learned from college or grade school and high school, and you apply it. Isn't that what learning is all about? Also, you realize rin that one of my main philosophies nowadays is that you don't know all of it. You don't know. Sometimes I think you don't know any of it. So
Socrates.
It's good to not be a know-it-all, or to know that you don't know it all.
Why is that good? Why is that helpful in the real world?
Because things change. I mean, like, just look at technology. It just changes every so often. So if you think na parang, hey, I'm an expert in like iOS, di ba? Parang, next model.
Yun dati, Pascal. Or
Pascal.
Yung computer language.
Akala ko yung
I don't know what the computer language is now.
Right. Who cares? Yeah. So you see, I mean, and
that's a very good point,
it should.
Flexibility and agility that requires the admission that you can't know everything. Diba?
It's best pa rin talaga if you're versatile.
Yes. It's just versatility is the key word in life, diba?
Oh, alam mo yun,
Yeah. You can put on many hats.
yes. As many hats as you want.
Yes. So, what kinds of philosophy of education would you wish that we had or that we use in philosophy class? You know, what kind of philosophy of education would really be useful in the real world? When I say useful, I guess it's no longer what will bring home the bacon, diba? Useful in the sense that will allow you to move, carry you through your life.
I don't. What kinds of philosophy?
So is it like that? What you said, like rote education, is that
okay.
or
I think
imposed? That you're being, as you said a while ago, you didn't have a choice whether you should agree or not.
Right. I think that the role of philosophy education nowadays is to train students to think critically,
Yes.
to think rationally, also to doubt what they're thinking, meaning to second guess also yourself, because sometimes you don't realize it, but you think na parang tama ako, klaro yan, but yun na pala, meron ka palang blinders. So to also have the humility to realize that even if you think you got it right, just wait, just wait. Show it to somebody else. Ask their opinion, because for all you know,
Is this a trait that you find even in Athenians? This lack of Socratic irony, in the sense that they always think that they are right, or is this something that you find in non-Athenians?
sorry, I'm writing down Socratic irony. I love that. I love that phrase, Socratic irony. If I'm gonna have an album, I think that's the title of my album, Socratic irony. I think a lot of Athenians kasi, not just our generation but also the younger generations, meron silang hubris ng konti na minsan palibhasa nag-Ateneo lang, parang akala mo kung sino na. And that's true. I mean, you ask the employers, and even though they would prefer Ateneo, Lasal, UP, they would always say na parang may certain yabang tong mga Atenista na to, na parang alam mo yun, yung hindi mo pwede silang utusan na kumuha ng kape, yung ganon, parang meron silang entitlement thing. But anyway, so is that common? I don't know if it's because of what we teach here in the Ateneo, or is it just because of the quality of the students and the families that
I guess.
bring their children here. Because I have a brother and a younger brother and a younger sister who are teachers. One is teaching in Ateneo grade school, and the other one is teaching in Miriam. And I've always been curious. I would always ask them, what's wrong with the kids nowadays? And they almost always say it's also the parents.
So the parents, they tell their children, you shouldn't have doubts. You shouldn't doubt yourself.
I think the way that parents are now rearing their children, there's something off. I think with the at least with the Ateneo and let's not universalize.
Yes.
Ateneo and Miriam students. So middle class. Parang ayaw na, like, hindi pwedeng i-disiplina ang children. Kailangan dapat hindi pa sila marunong but
like papaluin?
Discipline doesn't necessarily
yes.
but there is a need for, like, I have pamangkins, hindi sila pinalo ever, but they're super disciplined. And I always would ask nga my brother and my and his wife, how did you do that? And apparently kasi they're teachers also, and armed with child psychology learning, so they know how to put discipline to it. Especially I have a pamangkin din who's he's mildly autistic, so you have to, di ba, parang mas iba yung pagturo sa kanya.
So discipline, how would you define discipline now?
I think right now there's something wrong with the lack of discipline that these parents are teaching their children. Parang they let their children get away with murder.
So So going back to our question, do you think there's a need for more discipline in education, in the way we teach?
Well, kasi mas kailangan yan sa grade school. I think pagdating sa college na at yung mga nakalampas ng nakalampas ng grade school na with that entitlement in their heads, I think what college can do is to knock them down 2 notches and say na parang, you think you're so smart.
Bawal
I'm sorry.
na yan.
Siyempre, hindi nakita ng mga nakikinig. When I say pak, parang it's like you slap them in the face. But siyempre,
Bawal na yun ngayon,
Bawal lang
eh.
slap. Bawal lang.
Kahit yung papahiyain mo yung mga estudyante.
See, I think sometimes, hindi naman sa papahiyain, pero you point out that they're wrong.
Yeah.
You point out that they're wrong. And kung mapahiya sila, sorry sa kanila, di ba?
Actually, we should start this conversation, in Ateneo. And that is the way the employers are looking at our graduates.
The employers...
the bosses,
Yeah. Oo.
Let's start. How are they? Because I've heard of other opinions of people that they don't want to employ Ateneans.
Yeah, kasi parang they expect lagi na parang managerial level dapat ako kagad. Parang
So this is not anecdotal,
this is
Totoo
not
talaga to.
Oo. You of course you get rin naman mga humble Ateneans. These are like kunwari galing silang like scholars na naglumabas sa atin ngayon, di ba? And are now actually, giving back to society. Not all of them, but di ba? Parang so depende yan sa background pero yung typical nakapasok sa Ateneo kasi sa pera ng kanilang mga magulang at saka yung kung paano sila pinalaki ng mga magulang. Pag merong certain middle class, there's a certain middle class I don't know if you call it.
Alam mo kasi yung sabi niyan nung time natin, yung mga nakakotse, konti, hindi naman lahat nakakotse. Ngayon, didn't you see how big the parking lot?
Yeah, and what's interesting there is that itong mga bagong yaman na parang now we can afford a car, di ba? Now we can afford Ateneo.
Now we can afford a car for our kid in Ateneo. Yeah.
Yun nga ang na-realize namin. In our time, yung mga mayayaman sa Ateneo, hindi ba? In this time nowadays, yung mga yayaman wala na sa Ateneo, nasa abroad na.
Yeah, that's what people say that
Right. So, mga nasa
the
Ateneo
elites are
not there
studying
anymore.
abroad. Yeah.
They're studying abroad. So sino ngayon nasa Ateneo? Yung mga dating mga lower middle class na ngayon parang shit, meron na tayong pera. Sorry. Hindi pala pwede. Di ba? So, meron na tayong pera. We can now afford to put our kid to Ateneo and have an Ateneo education. So now they expect the world. Kasi parang, nagbayad ako ng magkano na?
Mahal.
Di ba? Like, nagbayad ako ng X amount. I expect nothing less than. So, ang entitled.
When I graduate na.
Not only the kids, but even the parents.
Yeah.
Ako yung nagbayad. So, I'm entitled. Me, the parent, I'm entitled na parang when I say my kid should be like this, should be like that, should be So,
employers are already reacting.
Well, I think that kind of attitude that yung is fostered on children. Paglabas na nila ngayon doon, nakikita naman nila kaya meron mga parang cliche, di ba, na pag Atenista, mayabang, pag Lasalista, magaling sa pera, pag UP naman, matalino pero alam mo yon, baduy. May mga those are cliches. But why are there cliches? Hindi ba? Kasi meron namang...
Yeah. Pero nung araw, yung mga Atenista, meron pang work ethic, meron pang humility.
Hindi, siguro meron lahat naman. Hindi lang naman Atenista. Lahat naman siguro. It's just that, syempre, may mga Atenista noon na pag super mayaman ka, hindi ba? Yun, depende rin naman sa super mayaman. May mga mayayamang pamilya na ang pagturo nila sa mga anak nila is, when you graduate from college, you will work from
zero.
Yes, start from zero and from another company, not our company.
Yes.
That's I think that Ayala's. But one of the reasons it's very smart is that they will learn from other companies.
Yes, yeah.
Diba? Best practices. But they start from zero.
Yeah. I think there's virtue in that, even if I'm an Atenean, I'm going to
start from
I don't
zero.
have to be a manager kagad.
Ako nga, what I learned rin is that I was already a vice president. yung position ko. And then
In ABS.
no, in CNN Philippines.
Mm.
And then I became a call center agent. Kailangan eh.
Ah.
But that humbling experience is also ako yung parang it wasn't such a big dagok but more like a big inconvenience lang. Kasi yung parang 'di ba naghahanap ka ng trabaho, wala pa dumarating, so you just go with whatever is there. And I was ready to be a McDonald's server kung yun lang talaga ang meron. But meron naman.
Maybe that's from your TA background.
You just be versatile.
Oo.
Could be. I think.
So,
Pwede rin naman kasi
I want to start that conversation in Loyola Heights. So maybe there's something we can learn, that I've heard that from others, they prefer people from PUP, for example. So maybe there's something that we can look at again, in the way we are raising our kids. And
kailangan ng ng research. Cambridge Analytica.
So, Joel, we have reached the end of our hour.
Oh.
You have another song.
Okay.
Diba?
This second song kasi is it's an older band. It's called The Beatles. Which by the way, panoorin niyo yung Yesterday. Magandang pelikula yun. It's showing now. So this song is called For No One.
Yes.
It's also I didn't realize it, but it's also a goodbye song. But what I find why I think this is more superior than Madonna's song is because this song is not about kasi si Madonna is there's no greater power than the power of God. My heart is not broken, but it's her point of view. Here kasi it's the songwriter, the I there is hindi siya he says your day breaks, your heart aches. Hindi yung parang my day breaks, my heart aches. So he's talking about somebody else. So there is an emotional distance ng konti, but it still is very melancholy because it's about parang this person realizes that the girl that he has loved all his life, in her eyes you see nothing, no sign of love behind the tears, and it's cried for no one, not for him.
Yeah.
So it's another one. It's another letting go thing.
Maybe we should talk about that next time. But who are you letting go? Pero
Marami.
si Joel, we're not saying goodbye to him because he'll be subbing for Sir Ron whenever he can. So next week also you'll be here, no?
Sabi mo.
Yeah. So thank you for being with us this afternoon, and then we look forward to working with you and Alma Mater. Thanks you in advance.
So you're now speaking on behalf of the Alma Mater. Okay.
So let's listen to that song
By the Beatles.
By the Beatles called For No One.
Yes.
As we say goodbye to you this afternoon.
Bye-bye.
See you again next week. Lundagin mo, Beybeh.
See nothing, no sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. A love that should have lasted years. You stay home, she goes out. She says that long ago she knew someone, but now he's gone. She doesn't need him. Your day breaks, your mind aches. There will be times when all the things she said will fill your head. You won't forget her, and in her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. A love that should have lasted years.
Ako ang pilit pinatatahimik, sinusupil, ginigipit. Ngunit bali-baliktarin man ako, palitan ng anyo, ibaon, itago. Hindi ako maglalaho. Hindi ako tatahimik. Pagkat ako ang nagpapalaya. Ang ingay sa katahimikan. Ang liwanag sa kadiliman. Ako ang katotohanan.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa loob sa labas ng eskwela.